scumbag to someone who doesn't know what lady
Yeah,
scumbag
what was
is?
your first impression of lady scumbag?
What was my first impression of lady scumbag? / how would I describe it to a stranger?
Yes. Are we recording?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think how I described lady scumbag in class to myself and then like shared with my classmates was I kind of reflected on the idea of like the scumbag in the traditional sense of like some guy who's just like an asshole and is super vocal, takes up too much space, and like their desires become very obvious to like anybody who just watches them for long enough because they're exposing themselves, or because they expose themselves. And I thought about like being very vocal about, or like vocal or transparent or like demanding of like what one wants, kind of like not only as it pertains to sex, but kind of like with this idea of like a like hypermasculine scumbag guy, like oftentimes related to sex or like similar, things like around that. So I think maybe the lady scumbag is like kind of similarly unapologetic or demanding of like their needs and wants, but like it's like also subversive potentially because like I think that you don't have the same questions of ethics, and I think the language is maybe a little ironic because I think that like a lady scumbag probably doesn't go about things. I don't know. I think that the language of a lady scumbag is like a little ironic, maybe, or sarcastic, because I think that the same dynamics would not exist, so it's not the same.
Can you think of a time that you were a lady scumbag?
The things that come to mind are like examples of things like that I did that were like scumbag-ish, but I didn't see as unethical. So like, but I feel like they don't pertain. I kind of like when I think of lady scumbag, I feel like I would apply it to like the gender binary or like dynamics around gender. So like, most of these scenarios like would be in response to. Most of the scenarios that come to mind are like in response to like anti-blackness or like classism or something like that. So like stealing from like, some major corporation, if it would be an example of that. As it pertains to like gender or sex, I feel like I need to reflect more. We were just talking about, or like Kim was just talking about how, wait, no, it wasn't Kim, it was the person who produced the film Angie was speaking about how women can be complicit in patriarchy and men can be complicit. They said men can be complicit in feminism, even though, So there were definitely times when I dealt with people like who were like hella complicit or like who were, I don't know. My first girlfriend was like hella violent, manipulative in ways that I guess you could say were like she was potentially being complicit in that type of violence, but that's a whole other scenario I'm not talking about right now.
I even have a pretty personal question for Marcus.
What was something else you came up with?
Yeah, ask me more of a hot topic question. I'll answer anything about my sex life.
How old were you when you started masturbating?
Oh yeah.
Approximately 14, 15.
Seems like an average age. How old were you the first time you had sex?
15. First girlfriend.
Have you ever masturbated in a public place?
Not when people are around. I've had sex in a public place, so that kind of counts. But not when people are around.
Not while people are around?
No, I don't think I've ever masturbated in a public place. No.
Isn't that funny that it's like, it's not normal, but like it's more commonplace to have sex in public places but not masturbate?
Yeah.
It's kind of better that way, I feel like.
Yeah, because then you're caught together.
Right.
Yeah, it's like,
It's an
at least it was
accomplice.
multiple people. If you're just alone doing something sexual like that.
Like, why are
It's
you
like a
doing
little
that?
embarrassing.
Yeah,
Like, whoa.
true.
Dope.
Alright.
Nice working with y'all.
So,
Well, what were your first impressions of Lady Scumbag?
please use full sentences.
I thought Lady Scumbag was kind of weird. And I also thought it was kind of gross. And I loved that.
Do you want to elaborate?
I think Lady Scumbag is a project about being a disgusting, vile, grotesque person. And we all can use that in our own lives.
What are some ways that you can think of?
Some ways to be a scumbag.
That we can like use it for our lives.
Or that you could personally use Lady Scumbag to like do something.
To your benefit.
Yeah.
I think I can be a lady scumbag by being just kind of, I guess, loud and confrontational, but not in a masculine way, because then you're not a lady scumbag. You have to be loud and aggressive and mean, but you have to be fabulous while you do it.
Can you give a specific example?
Of being fabulous while being loud and
Yeah.
confrontational.
That's really hard.
It could be a hypothetical too.
Hypothetical
Yeah.
example? I think a hypothetical example of a way you can be a lady scumbag is if your nose is running and you're kind of sick, don't buy tissues. Just take the extra roll of toilet paper from the dorm bathroom and carry it around in your backpack.
What-
Scumbag shit right there.
What's fabulous about that?
Toilet paper's soft.
Not the stuff here.
Well, that's where the scumbag comes into
That shit
it.
hurts.
Yeah, true.
Personal question?
Yeah, or if we have, yeah.
Here for it.
Here for it.
Well, before that, what's an example of a lady scumbag that you already have in your life?
Ooh, a lady scumbag in my life would have to be, ooh, that's really hard. I don't have many in my life.
What about the media?
In the media, a lady scumbag in the media who I admire a lot would have to be, I mean, she's sadly dead now, but Carrie Fisher, R.I.P., she was a huge alcoholic and kind of a scumbag, and she talked really openly about her struggles with addiction and mental health, and I was really inspired by that. I acted out her memoirs in a performance in 9th grade, and that was really fun to kind of take on the persona of a cokehead middle-aged woman, because that's my true self, I think, on the inside. So she was definitely a big role model for me and a true princess scumbag.
Nice. Personal questions?
Oh boy.
We had a wide range.
Yeah.
I just forgot.
Let's hear an embarrassing sex story.
Embarrassing sex story. I feel bad because it involves.
It has to be your personal experience.
No, I was gonna say it involves someone who goes to Pomona.
Oh, confidentiality. Don't say their
Yeah.
name.
I won't say their name. Yeah.
Say Mary. What happened with Mary?
But Mary's a female name. I'll say that.
I thought you said it was a she.
No, I know. It was. I said it was a guy.
Oh, I thought I was like guessing what this whole story was. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm making some assumptions here.
I was assuming that the story was gonna be some girl was like hitting on you. That was gonna be
That
the
has never happened before. I don't. God, it feels
The
really
name is
weird.
Leslie. That's
No, it feels weird saying this on camera, but the last guy I got with was really excited for it, and I really wasn't. And we were in my room, and as soon as he took his clothes off, I kind of froze up, and then really didn't want to get with him. So when we were in bed, I started crying, and then had to call it off, and basically kicked him out. So that's an embarrassing sex story.
Do you think having an inner lady scumbag would have helped in that situation?
Yeah, having an inner lady scumbag would have made me a lot more confident in just kicking him out as soon as possible rather than waiting. So we all have to learn from our mistakes, and Lady Scumbag is here to teach us.
Good job. Great work.
Comfortable.
Get comfy.
What was your last Lady Scumbag moment?
Oh, it was really small, but like every time, or like, I don't know, I feel like I found more people here using the word pussy in like a bad connotation. And every time I've heard someone say it in the past, I don't know, like 4 weeks that I've been here, how long, I don't know. I'm always like, no, pussies are strong as fuck, and there's no need to to connect it to like weakness or whatever. And I like tell all of them like it's funny if you switch it with penis, and people still understand. And so, yeah, like whenever people say pussy, I'm just like say penis instead or something, because I mean penises are weak, much weaker. So it's a very small example, but yeah, because language
Sounds like
matters.
call it a flaccid penis.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just don't be so flaccid. You know?
Yeah. God, you're so flaccid, bro.
Such a ball.
Yeah. Also, when you isn't it funny that when sorry, I'm taking your interview.
Go
but I think it's funny that like we say like oh like that was so ballsy, like he had such
Right,
big
or,
balls
like,
to do
get
that.
some
But balls are
balls.
like so sensitive.
That's what I'm saying. Balls and
They
penises are so
are.
sensitive.
They are
overall.
so sensitive. Like why is that like a thing that we like
Vaginas
equate
are
with?
the strongest.
I know they get literally
They
like
clean
torn
themselves.
apart.
They get
Torn apart and then they
give
reconstruct
birth.
themselves. Okay.
Is that what
Like,
birth
you need
is?
to
Yeah.
choose your-
I'm not gonna. That sounds terrible. I mean,
Are you about to say I'm not gonna give birth?
No, it
'Cause
doesn't.
I don't think okay.
Have you seen that thing going around the internet that like imagine if like you could just like if like a woman wanted to have an abortion, the man like didn't want to and like forced her to keep the baby or whatever, and then she could transfer the pregnancy to him. Like, do you think that we would even be having this conversation? Like, no.
No.
Like, there would be no question.
No, and I also a lot of this. I don't know.
No, you can just
I'm
keep-
just
yeah.
talk,
You can
yeah.
keep talking.
Yeah, a lot of times like I think like if men had to go through periods or if men had to go through birth, like it would be so much less painful by now. So many
Yeah.
scientific innovations would have happened already that would have made it just like I bet they would have found a way for like men to not have to give birth, or like for men to not have to like experience periods at all, or like pain at all that comes with it.
Exactly.
Like I know absolutely for sure that that's what.
It'd also make it less expensive to have kids.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, for
childbirth
sure.
is super. I mean, it's an American thing too. Like mothers get no support, but yeah,
For sure.
been on that way.
Yeah.
We didn't even ask the mild question.
How would you describe Lady Scumbag?
So I'm still kind of confused as to like the way that she plays out, but I think it does depend on like the way that every individual like tries to like what's the word like bring her out, you know. So like I think to echo a lot of the other interviews, like it is weaponizing like your own femininity, and with that also comes a lot of like sex to your own benefit. Yeah. But, like, for example, when we were talking about, like, the questions, and Professor Gay was like, if you could kill someone by having sex with them, like, who would it be? And I feel like that's such a good example of just, like, what a lady scumbag would do. Just, like, really being able to, like, reclaim her own, like, time and just autonomy that's been, like, so oppressed over time, and be able to use it for agency and power. Not just agency, like, for sure, like power. Yeah.
Who would you do it to?
Who would I do it to?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could kill someone.
But you also have to have sex with them, you know? That's,
Yeah, that's the
and it's
thing.
anyone that I want to kill, I don't think I would want to have sex with.
Right. I don't know. I feel like anybody would just say, like, Trump or whatever.
Ugh, but imagine.
But,
But
like,
imagine.
It
no.
just, no. At that point, I do lose. Like, even if I kill him, I do lose.
I know, because you have to live the rest of your life knowing you had sex with them.
It'd probably be like trying to get, you know, those like tubes of icing you have to get out to squeeze the frosting onto the cake. It'd be like that.
Wait, what?
Haven't you heard one of those like books that came out about him was like
Oh, it's
Trump
like
has a tiny penis?
No, it's like his dick looks like Toad
Oh
from
yeah,
Mario Kart.
oh yeah, true. Good
Yes,
job,
like
good
a
job.
mushroom.
Has like a big mushroom
Yes,
head.
yes,
Ew, that's
yes.
disgusting.
Yes.
I don't want to think about that.
I have no
Personal
idea
question.
though, but
That's a hard question to
That's a
answer.
really,
like,
really
That's a
hard
really hard
question.
question. How about a different personal question? Do you own any sex toys?
do I own any sex toys? I own one vibrator that actually, so I directed the vagina monologues at my high school, my senior year, and as my director's gift, my cast members bought me a whole bunch of condoms, lube, and a little vibrator. So that's why I have it. But I want to buy myself one, you know, or like
Yeah.
have
Like
one.
a nice one.
Yes, like I really, it's like one of those like really small ones, and it's like kind of cheap.
Yeah.
I think they cost like 15.
In Walker Lounge, they have a vending machine that you can get them for $6.
What? Really? Like the tiny ones? That's hilarious.
They have a few different ones actually. Got a friend who recently invested in a $100 vibrator.
No, but
There's
like
a
those
lot
are
of
good
sex stores in
investments.
Upland. It's all like
Yeah,
sex
those are a little like
stores.
seedy though.
They are seedy, but they're always really fun to go to.
Yeah. Has anyone been to New York to Babeland?
No.
I've been to Beyblade.
Babeland's a cool place, and the Museum of Sex actually is a great.
I
gift
want to
shop.
go to the Museum of Sex so bad.
They just redid it. It's apparently really nice.
Sex in a museum? No thanks. Not here for it.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, no, just kidding.
I was like, wait. I was like, you're like, no. Anything else you would like to share about Lady Scumbag?
I don't know. I thought of another
if you don't.
example. Huh?
I was gonna say it's okay if you don't have anything else to
Oh,
share.
let's-
Yeah, no,
what's
but I have
your
another
example?
example. Like, I very strongly do not want to give birth, and I don't know if that's necessarily like not want to have kids, but like I just don't. I know I don't want to give birth. But like, I feel like every single time I say that to people, it's definitely my lady scumbag coming out and literally being like this thing that you think is my purpose is not my purpose, and I will not be doing it. But it's always so funny to kind of like see people's reactions, and it's always like, oh, like we'll check in 20 years from now or something, or like you're just saying that now, it's like a phase and you have no idea, or like it's the best like thing in life, it's so joyful, this and that or whatever. And yet like statistics like literally show that women are so much less happy in marriage after giving birth or after having children. But again, like those are like standards, and like you don't necessarily have to be married to have children. You can have children in so many ways and like manifest your own happiness if you want to. But the way that it's like so standardized right now, it's like what comes out of it?
I feel so opposite. Like I really want to go through pregnancy and giving birth, but I don't really want to keep the kid.
I don't want to be
Oh, that's
pregnant.
interesting.
Oh, I wanna-
That's
Not
actually
even-
really interesting.
I really.
Do you want to be my surrogate?
Maybe. I was talking to
I'll pay you good money later
yeah,
on
it
in
is
life.
good money. I think that I would want to have my own. If I have kids, I think I would want to do that first before I go through surgery.
Be my surrogate. Because I'm gonna need someone.
Yeah, but then it'd have to be my egg, which is also a conflict.